Hit it, Phil.
Can it be the breeze that fills the trees with rare and magic perfume? Oh, no, it isn't the breeze, it's Jackson time. La, da, da, da.
Well, hello again. This is Buck Benny speaking. I am joined by Terry Phillips from Imaginaire Theater and John Henderson, of course, from This Day and Jack Benny, the wonderful podcast that you can get. Jack, you're not Jack, you're John. John, what have you covered like in some of your more recent podcasts and things?
Oh, I had some great ones recently. First, I did an early episode from the 30s, which I haven't done in a long time.
Right. So they're hard to present because you're like, okay, do I put up with the sound quality issues or whatever? But how'd it go?
But it was like a whole different batch of references, which I thought was a lot of fun, and to like find some obscure things. But I just finished one from the 50s. It's I Flew to Mars, where Jack Benny does a science fiction spoof.
Yes.
And I was trying to figure out, like, where is he getting this from? And there was a movie called Flight to Mars where he took the plot. And there was a TV show at the time called Space Patrol where he took the characters. So it was sort of a mishmash. So it was really interesting.
Yeah, he doesn't do a lot of science fiction stuff, but he did a few, and that's cool too. And on Phil Harris too, they had a couple about flying saucers, and they did a take on some of the science fiction shows of the time and things. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun when they do that.
Yeah.
And then of course the famous episode with Jack is probably the suspense episode where he does Planet X, I think it's called, or whatever, and that's a fun one to cover if you ever get a chance. Yeah, he does a good job in that, and it's a fun bit. Anyway, well, I'll tell you what, let's get started with chatting. We're talking, we're on world travels with Jack Benny, and as Jack and Mary kind of go around the world, we've covered a few things already. But this one is going to be on the Jack Benny TV show where he goes to Paris, because that's the one. Terry saw that, and Terry's going to have to leave early, so we thought we'd just go ahead and cover that one, and then John and I and Kathy, if you want to join in too, we're covering the radio shows. So it should be easy radio shows too, even if you didn't see them, because we're going to do the Egg and I. And that's fun to talk about. And then the other one is the Coleman's visit. And it's just, we haven't talked about the Colemans since we've been doing this, I don't think. So that'll be nice.
Kathy, by the way, we're recording right now, in case you didn't see it.
We are recording, yeah.
I apologize to have interrupted.
No, not a problem. Just didn't want you to be unaware.
You're not an interruption. You're a pleasant surprise to have you here. That's lovely. So thank you so much for showing up. Anyway, let's get into it. We are traveling with Jack around the world. This one is Jack in Paris. And this one, more than the other ones, I don't know. It just struck me that how nice to just be with Jack and Mary, and just, you never get a chance to just be with them. And we love them so much. And you know, I miss the other cast members, but it's kind of refreshing to just have them do this, do these presentations, and you can just feel kind of how much they love each other and things. It's a little awkward that in the show it's Jack going with his friend slash sort of colleague on this. They never explain any of that, you know, and so they just let it go. But for us, we know it's Jack and his wife going on a vacation together and getting a chance to spend some time in France. I love his whole slip up at the beginning where he's getting taught to say that he's a garbage truck driver and doesn't realize it. He thinks he's saying stage and screen and television star. And the part where the people all once he says it, everybody kind of shuffles away from him, and they think it's, oh, they're giving him space because he's such a big star. I thought that was great. Anyway, but Terry, let's go to you first. What were some of your takeaways on this one?
Well, the first thing I have to say is that it's impossible for me to watch television programs or even movies without, you know, kind of looking at it with a director's eye. And
right.
And I did wonder how much of this they shot in France. And in looking at the IMDb listing, and I think even at the credits at the end of this program, it also mentioned that they shot some of this in London. So I took another look at it, and I tried to pick out what was shot in the UK and what was shot in France. And I think most of the interiors were shot on a sound stage in Great Britain. And obviously they were not in the Eiffel Tower, although they did shoot exteriors in France, and that was clear.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same with the nightclub scene. I think that was probably shot on a sound stage in London. But it didn't matter because this is a TV show. We're not doing a documentary here and where everything has to be exactly as it appears. The Eiffel Tower scene, having been to the top of the Eiffel Tower scene, even though it was not shot where it was where we were meant to believe, was really authentic. I recognized some of the things they were showing. So they really had this down. I don't know how they did it. Maybe there is a set in a studio in London that replicates the Eiffel Tower. And the same with the nightclub scene. It was done in not just an authentic way, but in a familiar way. Viewers in 1957 would have seen that and said, "Oh yeah, we know what that's like because it's been in movies before, or even in TV shows." So I like that. At one point, when Jack calls the waiter over, John, I know you'll appreciate this too. He said, "Oh, Mister," and I kept expecting Frank Nelson to show up. It's just, that's Jack Benny DNA stuck in our heads from having heard that so many times, but it wasn't Frank Nelson. No. And I like. It would
have been good if the waiter said, "We."
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking too. That would have been awesome, even if it didn't make sense or whatever. Fans, it would have made sense.
And I like that there were a bunch of French people in this too, although there were another clue here is that there were a lot of British actors in this. So that was another clue that it was shot in the UK.
Yeah.
And then of course the pièce de résistance was the appearance of Maurice Chevalier. And he was wonderful. Again, for a 1957 audience, a very familiar face. He was one of the biggest stars in the world. He sang, which is great. And he was kind of the glue that held this episode together because, of course, he was interacting with French people or French characters who didn't understand much of what Jack and Mary were saying, and yet he was able to communicate with them. So all in all, it was a really solid program and a solid story too. It wasn't, a grandiose plot. There were no twists and turns. It was just really funny. And I'll use the word again, solid Jack Benny material. And
completely different from last week's show. Last week we were in England, and it was more of a slapstick, over the top comedy, different style than this. This was far more subtle and things. And I enjoyed both shows. So I enjoy, that's what I love about Jack's show. It's different every week. You never know exactly what you're going to get. John, what were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I would describe it as like comfort,
Yes.
like this was just a real nice episode. Imagine sitting down at night, you want something on that's going to be inoffensive. It's not going to like offend your senses. If you need to fall asleep, no problem. But if you stay awake, it's entertaining. I'm not that familiar with Maurice Chevalier. I found him very charming. I thought it was fun that he spoke French a lot in the episode, but we didn't feel lost.
Right.
And they introduced him as a famous singer. I assume he's not primarily known as a singer, or is he?
Half and half singer, half
actor.
Yep. But he sang a lot in his career.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so I just thought it was fun. I loved the garbage stuff, and especially the callbacks, like the guy who is really impressed by his introduction in French. So I thought all that was lots of fun. I also thought it was hilarious to hear Maurice Chevalier saying Anaheim, Azusa, and Cucamonga.
Yes.
Yeah, and as far as like Mary goes, it's great to see an episode with Mary, and like you sort of hinted at, Buck, in the old days, the earliest days of radio and throughout the radio career, we know Jack Benny is not married to Mary on the radio show. But by the time you get to like the color specials, they sort of dropped the pretenses.
Mhm.
And they're just like, yeah, here's my wife, Mary. Here she is. And so this
Right.
is sort of in between, where he's basically treating her like his wife. Everyone knows that he's his wife, but they don't really say it one way or the other.
Right.
They're not even
And he's
staying in the
usually
same
talking to
hotel.
her, and she's in her own suite or her own, right? And so they're not staying together, is what it shows. But and I don't know if they're there in person, whether they'd be staying together. In real life, that's their marriage and their life. I don't know how that all works out. Yeah, I agree with everything you said, John. It's very comfortable watching this episode, and I was comforted by it. It just made me feel like, oh, they're kind of inviting me in to be with Jack and Mary on this vacation, and it's lovely.
Yeah.
The other,
I'm no director like Terry, but
yeah.
I tend to notice when things are like way off,
Mhm.
and so I didn't find this jarring at all.
No.
We're like, okay, this is obviously filmed, and then suddenly we're in a sound studio and like the lights are perfect and weird. For some reason, this one seemed more natural, and I wasn't even thinking about where it was filmed, which is, oftentimes I will notice those kind of things.
Yeah, and I just figure going into this, all of these ones that are world, it's like, okay, they're not all going to be on location. They're not all going to be there. There's going to be pieces to it. And I bet the London studios, I wouldn't be surprised if all of them have a lot filmed in London studios, because he probably has a deal there and is working through that and so forth. But the other piece I just want to mention was we were all watching this on YouTube, and so the YouTube, if I was scrolling down through the comments and just seeing what people were saying about it, and there was one person from there was one comment in French, and so I hit the translate button so I could see what it was saying. And it was interesting. It was saying how the person was kind of lamenting the fact that Maurice Chevalier was such a big star, and yet he's almost forgotten in France at this time. And people say the same thing. I don't know how true it is that he's almost forgotten, because people say the same thing about Jack Benny, and I don't think Jack Benny is nearly as forgotten as people think he is, especially in recent years, because so many people have fallen in love with the radio show, and so many people are now the TV show's been on regularly for probably a decade or a decade and a half, that it's been kind of back in circulation and things. So I think people know him more than folks think. I hope that same is true of Maurice Chevalier. I mean, you certainly don't want these great stars that did wonderful performances to ever be forgotten. And it's just wonderful that we have shows like this that can show us Maurice Chevalier and can show us Jack Benny and Mary Livingstone. Kathy, go ahead. What were you thinking?
I just like to say that I love how this show in 1957 sort of represents the parochialism of Americans, and yet Jack, I think Jack and his producers were brave to include as much French as they did.
Yeah.
Considering how an audience, I want to say in Wisconsin or Iowa, or so a good old,
and without subtitles or anything, yeah, right.
Right. So,
yeah.
but in a way, I was going to say, if I was a government agent, I would be hooray, trying to encourage Americans to travel to Europe and to get out of their parochialism and
Yes.
See a bit more of the world. Hooray! The war's been over for 10 years, and you ought to get out. But I'm also reminded that the average French person wouldn't have known who Jack Benny was at all.
Right.
And I know how much that actually upset him. The story that I read the most is when he was traveling in Israel, and he was upset that people over there didn't stop him on the street, didn't know who he was, because, and this would have been true in Europe too, that, his radio show wasn't carried on the networks. Neither the TV show. He would have been beloved among the GIs when he was there during World War II,
Mhm.
but your average French person would have said Jacques Benny.
That was a great French person impression there, Kathy. I love that. Well, the part that no one's mentioned that I just loved in this episode was the part on the Eiffel Tower, in which Jack is saying how he can see things that are further out than he could possibly see. And Mary's pointing out, well, that's 100 miles away. You can't possibly see that. And the person next to him that's like looking through one of those telescope things and trying to see what Jack's talking about and can't, and so eventually grabs Jack's glasses and puts them on. And I just thought it was charming, because that, I love it whenever the radio show or the TV show captures the real Jack, right? Not the actor Jack, and not the character of Jack, but the real Jack. And Jack is described over and over and over again. And it's the part of Jack, one of the parts of Jack, that I try and emulate in my life, because I just think it's such a cool thing that he would do, is everywhere he was at, everything he did, he would eat something and say, oh, this is the best sandwich I've ever eaten, or this, oh, everyone must come to this restaurant and have this. This is so wonderful. Or the place where he is the best place in the world to be, and just be excited about everything. And that got a flavor of that was in this scene. And I just love that. And so I try, when I go places and things, I'm like, oh, how's your food? Oh, mine's delicious and it's great. And, because why do we have to sit there and, pick everything apart that my hamburger was a little not quite as done as I would like it to be. And then it's like, come on, people, just enjoy life together and just have fun with it. And that's what Jack would do. And so, and I think people have noticed me become more like positive as life goes on. That's that Jack gives us so many gifts with if we watch and if we listen and if we learn from him, and the way he approaches his show, the way he approaches his castmates, the way he's so generous with the lines that he gives them and things, the way that all the people that are in your life, if you can make sure that they understand how important they are to you and how much you enjoy them, is a wonderful gift. And Jack, it's one of the gifts that Jack gives us. And in this episode, that kind of comes out, and I really like that. So anyway, great episode. I hope everybody's going to really like this one. Anything else to point out? Or are we pretty good, I think? I did like the garbage man that hugs onto Jack. And then at the end, Jack riding away in the garbage truck is a fun bit. It seems out of character for him to do that as his character. I don't see his character necessarily doing that. I guess it's the is he cheap enough to willing to sit in a garbage truck to be driven away? And I guess the cheapness outscores all him trying to always be kind of, I don't know. He always also seems like kind of prim and proper, whatever you want to call it, but he's willing to let that go and just be like, no, I'll ride in the garbage truck for free. That's a great deal. So anyway, thanks everybody, and enjoy the show, and we'll see you next time for more of our world travels. We're through most of these episodes at this point. I think we've got maybe a couple left, but then I have a couple surprises for us coming up that I think everybody's really going to enjoy. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
The Jack Benny Program. Paris, gay Paris, was one of the many fascinating cities Jack visited last summer during his European vacation. Paris, city of pleasure and international style, mecca of tourists from all over the globe. For the first few days, Jack stayed close to his room in the Hotel Georges V.
La table, the chair, la chaise, the wall, la mule, the sidewalk restaurant, la café terrace, the dinner, la dîner, the chick, Monsieur Benet, The check. Huh? I have told you 1,000 times. The word for check is l'addition. L'addition. That is a very simple word in French.
I have trouble with it in Italian, too.
Monsieur Benet, now I must go. Perhaps I will have more time to spend with you tomorrow.
The ear.
Will that be all, monsieur?
Oh, yes, thank you. Oh, waiter.
Oui, monsieur?
You know, I will undoubtedly meet a lot of people here in Paris, so there's something else I'd like to know.
What is that, monsieur?
How would I say star of stage, screen, and television in French?
Star of stage, screen, and television.
Yes.
You expect to meet one?
I was referring to myself. See, back home, you know, in America, I'm known as probably one of the most suave and sophisticated comedians in the entire entertainment industry. As a matter of fact, just a few years ago, in front of the Hollywood's most famous theater, they put my feet in cement.
Only your feet.
We. Now, if I meet someone, how would I say to him in French, I am Jack Benny, star of stage, screen, and television?
Oh, Monsieur Benet, that is easy.
Huh?
Just say, je suis Jack Benet, je conduis un camion à ordures.
Now let's see if I got it now. Je suis Jack Benny, je conduis camion à ordures.
That is right,
I got it.
monsieur.
I got it.
That
I got
is
it.
right.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
I got it. Thank you. Je suis Jack Benny.
Ça c'est bien amusant, hein? C'est rigolo, mon vieux.
What's so fun?
Oh, pardon, monsieur. But there's a man in the next room who asked me how you should say that he is a star of stage, screen, and television.
Robert here, he tells him to say, je conduis un camion à ordures, which means I drive a garbage truck.
Operator, would you please get me Elise 2468?
Allô? Mademoiselle Livingstone? Ne quittez pas, s'il vous plaît. Pardon, mademoiselle. You're wanted on the telephone. Oh, thank you, sir.
Hello?
Hello, Mary. This is Jack.
Jack, where are you? I've been waiting for you. You promised to take me to the Eiffel Tower.
I'm just ready to leave.
Well, hurry over. I hear the view from there is just beautiful.
Well, Mary, wait in front of the hotel. I'll be there in a minute.
Okay, bye.
You know, everybody sometime or other has to get away from his regular routine and do something different.
I think so, too.
Yeah, I remember telling the same thing to Rochester. Now, he's been cooped up in my house for years and years, and, you know, washing the dishes and cooking the meals and scrubbing the floors. And now, since we're gone, he's out in the air getting the sun.
Oh, that's wonderful. What's he doing?
Reshingling the roof.
It's a fine vacation.
Yeah. Hey, Mary. Look at, we're at the Eiffel Tower already. Here you are, driver.
Gosh, that sure is high.
Yeah. Let's get the elevator and go way up to the top.
Okay.
Say, Mary, I was learning French today from the waiter at my hotel.
Really?
He taught me to say something very important, too. Get a load of this. Je suis Jack Benny. Je conduis un camion à ordures.
I don't know what you said, but you certainly impressed them. Look at all the room they gave you.
Gosh, this is beautiful. What a view.
I've never seen anything like it.
Hey, Mary. Mary, look. There's my hotel, the George Sang. Look at it. And there's the Louvre Museum, right off the Place de la Concorde. Gee, the view from here is sensational. Mary, there's the palace at Versailles.
Jack, Versailles is 15 miles from here.
Can't help it, I see it. Mary, there's Normandy, the beach where the Allied armies landed.
Jack, Normandy's over 100 miles from here.
I can't help it, I see it. I have never seen anything like this.
Oui, oui. The gentleman is right. Normandie, combien? Ah, Versailles. Oh, merci, monsieur, merci. Ah.
Jack, can I see those glasses? Well, I'll be darned. Uh-oh.
What do you see, Mary? What do you see? What do you see?
Well, promise you won't get mad, Jack.
No, what is it?
Well, your roof is only half shingled and Rochester fell asleep.
Now cut that out. Come on, let's look over here.
Okay.
Ah, monsieur, if you wish to leave, we are about to descend. Cet homme-là, il conduit un camion à ordures. Ça alors? Ah oui.
Pardon, monsieur. Le lestier m'a dit que vous conduisez un camion à ordures.
Oui, oui.
Ah, it's an honor to meet you.
What are you laughing at? Can I help it if I got fans all over the world?
Oh, come on, Jack. The elevator's waiting.
Okay, first I want to drop off these films.
Mais oui, ça c'est vrai, malgré de ça. Monsieur et mademoiselle, comment allez-vous? Puis-je vous aider?
I'd like to know what this is.
Pardon, mademoiselle?
I would like to know what this is.
Oh, je regrette infiniment, mais je ne comprends pas.
Mary, never mind. I'll find somebody who speaks English here. Here's some fellows over there. I'll ask them. Pardon me. Do any of you gentlemen speak English?
Well, I speak a little bit of it.
Jacques! Maurice Chevalier!
And Mary. Bonjour, Mary. Oh, it's so nice to see you. I did not know that you were in Paris.
We've been here 3 days.
Oh, that's wonderful. I hope you're having a good time.
Oh, we are. You know, we just saw all of Paris from the top of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, that's fine. But you must see how the real Frenchman lives. I must take you to some little towns like Évreux, Villefranche, Cabaret. In that way, I will be repaying you for that wonderful sightseeing trip you took me on when I was in America.
Where'd he take you?
To Anaheim, Azusa, and Cucamonga.
In Azusa, we had a ball.
A ball? I thought that was a grapefruit.
No, you see, that's an expression meaning that we had a good time, you know.
Jack?
Maurice, we shall see you later, huh?
No, but before you go, Andre, I'd like you to meet some very nice friends of mine. This is Miss Livingstone, one of America's cleverest comedians in television.
Mademoiselle?
And this is...
No, let me tell him. Je suis Jack Benny. Je conduis un camion à ordures.
Maurice, what you say about America is so democratic, it must be true, huh? Where else would a girl who is a big star go around with a man who drives a garbage truck? I heard that. What did he say?
Well, it's just what you said, Jack. What you said in French. You said, I am Jack Benny, I drive a garbage truck.
I said that? Gee, I thought I said, I'm Jack Benny, star of stage, screen, and television.
Maybe with a Waukegan accent, it loses something.
Maybe.
Jack, how much did you tip that waiter to teach you French?
Nothing.
Serves you right.
We really must go now. Monsieur, mademoiselle, it was a pleasure to meet you.
I'll go with you. You get a taxi, Andre, and I'll join you, eh?
Eh bien.
Jack, Mary, I have a wonderful idea. What hotel are you stopping at?
I'm at the George Sang.
All right. Then tonight, I pick up you and Mary, and we go together to see the French nightclubs. Good?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Fine. It's a date, then, eh? Tonight, 8 o'clock. Au revoir.
See you later. Hey, yes, sirree, Mary. Now we're really going to see Gay Paris. Let's go. Yum ba bum bum be da dee da dum bum bum ba bum bum be da dee da. Gee, we've been to 4 nightclubs already. And Maurice, you picked up the check in every one of them. Now, this one's on me.
Oh, Jack, that is not necessary.
No, but I insist. Now, let's have some wine. I'll call the waiter. Oh, gendarme. Maurice, are you nearsighted?
No, but sometimes I wish I were hard of hearing.
Oh, yes, the band is a little bit loud, isn't it?
Embarrassed. Imagine calling the waiter gendarme.
Yes, Jack. Waiter is garçon, and gendarme is policeman.
Oh. Well, Jack's right after all. When the garçon brings a check, he'll need a gendarme.
Monsieur would like a bottle of champagne?
Wait.
Wait a minute. Is that champagne imported?
Jack, you never ask a question like that in France.
Well, gee, I want to know what we're getting.
I'm positive, monsieur, you'll be very happy with the taste of this champagne.
Well, how much is it?
3,000 francs.
3,000 francs.
We will take it.
Maurice.
Jack?
Never mind. It's too late.
Attention, monsieur et madame. Ladies and gentlemen, I notice that as a guest in our club tonight, we have the most popular singing star in all France, Monsieur Maurice Chevalier. I hope I am not imposing, but it would be a great pleasure if Monsieur Chevalier would come onto the stage and honor us with a song, huh?
Go ahead, Maurice. It's a great opportunity.
Opportunity? For me?
No, for him. He thinks if you sing a song, he won't have to pay for the wine.
Let's do now. He's been doing very well without my singing.
I wasn't thinking of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very, very much for that very warm reception. And as my great American friend Jack Benny is sitting there with me. I'm sure that you won't mind if I sing in English, eh? Happy, I'm happy to say that I'm happy to be here. Makes me happy to see everyone with a grin from ear to ear. What a delight is living when you're giving someone joy. If it's the glow of laughter that you're after, then I'm your boy, spreading sunshine. That's all that I ask, and I'm happy as a king. When there's love in your heart, then you have to share a part to be happy. And if you let it, life can be a happy, happy thing. Everyone has troubles, and troubles are troubles. I know, 'cause I've had a few, my friend. We're always in a hurry to worry, and worry can hurry you to an early end. It's a matter of perspective. A simple directive might prove to be effective, and which I recommend. Happy, I'm happy to say that I'm happy to be here. Makes me happy to see everyone with a grin from ear to ear. What a delight is living when you're giving someone joy. If it's the glow of laughter that you're after, then I'm your boy, spreading sunshine. That's all that I ask, and I'm happy as a king. When there's love in your heart, then you have to share a part to be happy. Ba-ra-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, happy. Ba-ra-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, happy as a king.
Maurice, that was just wonderful.
Oh, it was
It really was.
Maurice Chevalier! Maurice, mais quelle bonne surprise de vous voir! Comment ça
Bonjour,
va?
Lorraine, ça va bien?
Je voulais vous dire quel plaisir j'ai eu à vous entendre.
Oh, mais vous êtes trop gentil. Il y a longtemps que vous êtes ici?
Non, pas tellement.
Je vous demande pardon, je la rencontre. Il y a tellement longtemps que je l'ai rencontrée que je suis en train de me demander si vraiment. Oh, I'm sorry, Mary. I want you to meet Miss Livingstone.
How do you do?
And this is Mr. Jack Benny.
Enchanté de faire votre connaissance.
Woo-woo. Me, oui. To meet me. No, you.
Si je voulais pas vous déranger, je m'excuse.
No, you sit here. You
Sure,
sit here.
sit right down here. You're not intruding at all. Oh, waiter, bring a chair over here, will you please, and an extra glass.
Oui, monsieur.
There we are.
Vous avez voyagé, mais vous avez voyagé pour travailler ou vous avez voyagé? I'm just trying to speak with. Vous avez voyagé, enfin, pour les deux.
Oui.
Touriste, travailler, enfin, un petit peu des deux.
Steady, boy. Steady.
Please, monsieur, my arm.
Don't monsieur me. You know, the last time you poured, you shook the bottle.
There's no harm in that.
Oh, there isn't, eh? This bottle costs 3,000 francs. And when you shake champagne, it makes bubbles. And bubbles are air.
And if he wants air, he can open the window. Eh?
Everything.
What?
Jack, while the waiter's here, could we order something to eat?
Well, Mary, we're going to a lot of different places. We can eat at another club.
Well, can we at least have one dance?
Well, why not? Mon chéri.
Je pense que maintenant, nous allons aller ailleurs dans un autre cabaret, hein?
Please speak to me in English like that. I learn, no?
Well, I mean, it's pretty early. Why don't we all go to another nightclub?
Maurice, I would enjoy very much going to another nightclub with you. And I would enjoy very much taking with us the young lady, Miss Livingstone. Mais cet homme, Benny. Rendez-moi un petit service. Donnez-lui un coup de pied dans les pantalons, hein?
Oh, but I cannot do what you suggest. You see, I've known him for a long time. I cannot kick him in the pants.
Si vous ne le faites pas, alors moi, je vais le faire.
Oh, no, he would kick back.
Hey, you watch us?
Quiet, here he comes. Why are you back so soon?
Oh, I thought maybe I ought to spread myself around and dance with somebody else.
That was my idea.
Great.
You know, Mary, I've known Jack for many years, and although he's what you call in America cheap, I still like him very much.
Well, there's something I'd like to tell you, Maurice. You know, everyone thinks Jack is very stingy, but deep down inside, he has a heart of gold.
Gold? He's got it inside, too. I make you laugh, Mary. I'm a comedian, too. Mary, before Jack comes back, I'd like to ask you something. I know that he's telling everybody that, that he's 39, you know. But how old is he, really?
Well, if you don't tell Jack I told you, I think he's old as you are.
I thought so.
How old are you?
41. Come on.
Jack, I knew we should have gone home with Maurice and Lorraine, but not you. You had to hang on till the very last minute.
Well, I was having fun.
The streets are so deserted, Jack, we'll never get a cab.
Oh, we'll get something. Hey, Mary, look, we're in luck.
Yoo-hoo!
Hang on, let me, hey, Kathy showed up. Let's let Kathy in. All right. And then we'll get into what this one's gonna be on. Kathy, are you there? Hello. Hey, morning, Kathy. I didn't know if you were gonna make it.
Computer problems. I had to move to the laptop in the kitchen. So,
Well, now we get a shot of the kitchen. How nice.
yeah. There you go. Here. Whoop! I blew it already.
You're good.
There you go. Okay. It doesn't want to let me do that.
Well, it's showing it on our end. It looks good. So
yeah,
it
it's
did
my
go.
1949 O'Keefe and Merritt in the background. So
Nice. That is true dedication going on there.
It weighs 700 pounds. It has 6 burners, 2 ovens, 2 broilers.
Awesome.
I accidentally won it on eBay, but that's another story.
And I bet you had to pay a bit in shipping.
Mike Kenny went and picked it up. It was on the tip of Long Island, and he brought it back to Atlanta for me. So
wow, that's awfully nice. Great.
Well, it's great to see you all. Hello.
Yeah, it's good to see you. So we're right now covering